Okay.
Others are doing it for themselves. Do you know? Y'all know the song. If you're old enough, if you're 50, you know the song. If you're under Jessica's age, you might not. But I'm going to sing it. What are we doing? Standing on our own 2 feet. Welcome back, Miss Jessica.
Someone had a powerful time away.
You know what? Guess what? Yeah, listen, let's just be honest. It was a time away. I'm not sure it was powerful. It may have been stressful, but it was a time away. We are back. It's season 4. We want to welcome all of our listeners, new, old, new, middle-aged. We just say welcome. If you're having a heat flash right now, get a fan. You're good. But you know what? Season 4, we're back.
We're back, and it's new year. It's 2026.
26.
Feels the same as 25. I'm not gonna lie, but
actually, it feels a little leveled up. If you ask me, I mean, it doesn't. It feels a little
like ratcheted up, not leveled up. Right.
Whatever you want to call it. All I know is it feels
leveled up. Almost sounds good.
I feel warm. I feel warmer than I did, and this ain't menopause. I'm just feeling warm.
Is you feeling global warming? Because that's not real. So we need to talk to a therapist for you if that's what you're going through, because it's not real.
All we need
nothing's getting warmer.
Therapy is important. But anyway, we are back from a really nice break. I think for me, it was really nice. I'll be honest. I probably filled the time with 10 more projects. I am missing my Christmas Lifetime movies. I'm missing hot chocolate. I'm missing sprinkled lights and tinsel. I am missing those things because the reality is a bit darker.
Yeah. It feels like Christmas feels like, I don't know, decades ago at this point. And it's barely,
girl,
it's not even February yet.
Girl, it's literally a month ago. So it's not that far ago. A couple months maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's, let's just say we have not questioned why we need this podcast and why we're doing this podcast. There has been nothing that has happened in the world that's made us say, you know what? I don't think people need more positivity or new ways to uplift each other. I think everyone's doing fine.
Or independent voices or, actual honest reality. I will say before we go anywhere, we're not at the segment in which we're going, Shine Sis Shine, but I want to give Don Lemon all of the shines because he truly proves why being independent and having an independent voice is important right now.
Yeah. I think that just gonna leave it at that.
So Jessica, before we go dark, and we will, let's start a little light. Tell us a little bit about what you did on break.
Yeah. So what did I do? I took a little bit of time off. I actually I'm someone who usually travels the whole Christmas, New Year's break and shuts down or doesn't. Like, I don't usually have like an in-between. And this time I did do a little bit of in-between. I was able to work a little bit, which is nice when it's quiet and everybody, most people think there's like 49 weeks of the year because they just clock out for 3 of the weeks. So it's kind of nice to be able to do your own thing and work a little bit. And then this year we didn't go on a big, long trip. We went on a shorter New Year's trip to Mexico City, which was fabulous. If you haven't been to Mexico City, I would definitely suggest going, particularly if you're in California, or if you're on not just California, but if you're on the West Coast.
Anywhere.
It's such an easy, given, especially if you're in California, Arizona, Texas, given we were part of Mexico, it's not a long way down to Mexico City. Sometimes we wish it was all still part of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico.
No, I won't say it. Actually, someone there said it to me. We were talking about directions, and she said, "Gift, girl, I'm telling the listeners, not just you."
I was like, girl, you already told me this story. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I'm
got
used to just now, it's been like a month or so. We've been just talking amongst
okay.
ourselves. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
used to it.
Okay, so to everybody else, sorry, Tanya, that you have to hear this repeat of a story, but to everybody else who's listening, someone did actually was telling me directions, and they were talking about the Gulf of Mexico, and then she paused and she said, "I'm sorry, should I say Gulf of America to you all?" And I said, "No, you shouldn't, because that's insane, and I don't
Yeah.
abide by those
Don't do
rules."
that.
I
Yes.
assured her that
Yes.
yes, and I
Please.
was actually fine if she called it Alta, California, as it should be. Enough of that. I had a wonderful time in Mexico City. There was an earthquake when I was there. That's a whole nother story. I do not recommend anyone experiences an earthquake while 31
Yeah.
flights up.
I had
Yeah.
questions.
Not a
Blessings.
great not a great experience. It's not gonna make me stop staying in tall buildings, but it certainly, yeah, certainly was a wake-up call on January 2nd, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that was that.
You won't
But yeah,
catch me on the first floor doing anything personally.
well, you don't take elevators. So,
I will take one, but I'm not trying to go that high. I'm just going to be questioning it. I would be like the whole time
well, this
thinking,
hotel started at 14, so I don't
which
think
is
it would have been a
insane
hotel.
to me. Which is insane to me. What was on it was all businesses? What was the offices from 1 to 14? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ass hotel. So I think it had like, some
Wow.
restaurants. It had some, I'm sure, other I didn't look,
Conference
but I'm sure like a
rooms and
conference areas and
yeah,
that type of
yeah.
thing. And plus, it's just a very high set hotel. A lot of stuff
Yeah.
is high, very high buildings in Mexico
That's
City, which is
interesting.
interesting because
Very
it's
fascinating.
built on a basin that is mud, and it's known for earthquakes. So it's an interesting approach that
Right.
there's a lot of high buildings, but
And
you got to just pass.
I wouldn't want to be under that. I don't want to be
You know
close
what, girl?
to any of that.
Get a
But
get a get a churro, get a taco, you kind of forget about it all.
right.
Get s
You sound like your husband in that during that
get
moment,
some
but it's fine.
get a photo of it, look at some good art, have a churro, and next thing you know, you forgot about it.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds like fun. I mean, I also think I heard you talk about some self-care, some soft life, some dangerous soft
Yes.
life, you know.
I've definitely got my fill of massages, scrubs, like first of all, I did do a Korean scrub. And for those of you who haven't before, the woman who did my scrub joins a list of people who has seen every inch of my body. And she is probably more intimately involved with
Right.
every inch of my body than some other people on the list. So she is Korean scrub makes getting a Brazilian look like easy
Okay.
work.
Okay.
Easy work.
This is a family show.
This is not a family show. If your children are listening, turn off. And I've got questions for you anyways. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it makes
Some of us older, mature, traditional Black people are not doing none of those things.
it
We're not
makes
getting
it
scrubbed.
it's called Brazilian for a reason. So Black people do get it.
Okay.
But I would say that fine, it makes your GYN. She knows me more than my GYN. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
Anyway, from moving away from your annual exams,
Yeah. Okay,
and
fine.
speaking of
Your
annual
choice.
exams, I have been, listen, for some reason, I'm trying to take care of my health. I'm trying to take control of my health. Have had some,
Many of you may be out there saying, is Tanya positioning this as something new? She is, but we know she has been focused on her health for a long time, but just let her sit in this. Go
well,
ahead.
thank you. Thank you so much for that commercial break that I don't think
She's
anybody
turning
needed.
over a new leaf
I'm
and
turning on like
focusing on her
so,
health.
I've felt some pain, I've felt some aches, I've gotten some like questionable, like, what's this blood work? So I'm really focused. And I told my doctor she has 3 months to get me together, gather me, fix this because I'm not trying to see her often. This is not, this is not girl, I'll see you next week. This is I'm done. 2026, I'm really trying to focus on that. So yeah, I mean, also we don't know when prices are going to go or what's going to happen with insurance in the United States. So I'm trying to just get all the tests in, all of them, all of the tests that I can. The other thing, I've been in Mexico dreaming, girl. You went to Mexico, and I was so envious because I was like, I want to be in Mexico City. I have a trip now officially planned in the summer, but I don't think it's soon enough. And I may try to get there in the spring. But the more situations heat up here, the more I'm dreaming about my nice little mountain town in the middle of Mexico. That's where my head is at. And you know what? Focused on the grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
That 9 to 5 ain't gonna save your life.
But you focus on the grind. Gotcha.
Focus on building around it as well.
Got Gotcha. I just wanted to take a quick detour and ask you, since you brought up Christmas
Mhm.
and you brought I don't this is not was not on the list, so I don't know if you're gonna go there. But did you
Uh,
have any Christmas? I think it'd be fun if we did it.
where are we going? Okay.
If we have any Christmas present blunders, something that didn't work out.
Christmas present blunders. You know what? As you said, it feels like that was years ago. I feel like I got a lot of great Christmas gifts. I do lists and I tell people what they should be giving me. I think I may have gifted you something
No, I
for your birthday that might have
no, no, no,
turned
no.
a corner.
I actually was, I mean, yeah, that Tanya's gift to me for my birthday was added to my Soft Life body scrubs, and it was
Painful
a
experience.
it was an experience. It was an invigorating experience, and it was probably one that it was a fabulous one-time
Yeah.
experience. Put it that way. No, I was going to talk about
The tea experience.
and you know what? Normally I
They
I
listen. They
wouldn't
may
say
listen.
something. Oh, really? Well, normally okay, okay, damn it, because I was gonna say normally I would okay, so we'll put it this way. I'm never gonna put a a black business under throw a black business under the bus,
No.
but
Open your
this
teeth.
is just a warning. No, that's how I was just gonna say,
Check.
this is a warning. Black black patronizing your stores and going to your stores as black patrons is not guaranteed. So you still need to have good customer service. And so if you are someone who dedicates yourself to buying black, which
Yeah,
we all should
I
and I
do.
appreciate,
Right there.
I I think that it should be a reciprocal conversation between you and
Yeah,
someone who owns a store or product
right. My dollar
if
is
you're
not
trying to give
always
constructive
guaranteed.
feedback.
Right. My dollar
Yes,
is not guaranteed. I will
right.
say, without, outing anyone, I think, yes, I focused my energy in the last year of really supporting businesses, particularly Black-owned female businesses. I will say I also had an instance yesterday in which earrings that I gave a really good friend of mine, she texted me. She wore them, I think it was an hour. She's a listener. She may have been a guest on this podcast. A very lovely store that doesn't follow us. And she's like, girl, my earrings broke. I said, okay, I am
Is
spending
it the
real
place that I bought from too?
Yes, I'm spending real money. I'm spending real coins on these things. I'm just gonna
Look,
say,
look,
listen,
our black dollar matters.
values. We are a value. So
Oh
make
my
sure
God.
the hook is tight. Make sure the quality is there. Because guess what? I'm gonna come back next year. And check your supply to make sure nothing is infested. I mean, just really. I mean, and I will say this,
Tight, tight,
tighten
tight.
it up. And like I said, continue to support. And listen, I'm not deterred. I'm continue to support. I may go back to that sis shop and go, girl. And if you don't respond to me when let you know that something's
When I
off,
try to give you some positive
that's
when I
fine.
try to give you
That's
the
fine.
feedback before someone else does, who doesn't give it to
Right.
you
Right.
in
That's
a
not,
way with a bow that says, "Hey, I'm
hey,
looking out
girl.
for you."
Hey, girl. Hey. So
This is just a good note to say,
good lesson.
when you get feedback and it doesn't feel great, take a moment and say, but is this on me to take the feedback? And is this helping me? And
Yeah.
if it's helping you, girl,
Right.
take it. Okay.
Right. And I do believe that a lot of people, and it's going into the rest of our conversation, the real conversation, a lot of people are pivoting right now. A lot of people are starting new businesses, trying to be entrepreneurs. I'm not going to be Tabitha. I'm not trying to be Tab and tell you to go back to getting a full-time job. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm
Right.
saying is, in this pivot, that's why we have to be we have to be our own, our sister's keeper, right? We have to support each other. We have to like go, sis, you'll tell me if my stuff is not tight. I will tell you. And if
Right.
someone who has good intention is saying, hey, you could do something better, listen to them. And it's okay to listen to
Right.
them.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you're right on. I think it's being an entrepreneur. And I mean, I don't know. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, but I would say there's probably lots of moments where you have these like humbling, especially if business isn't your background,
Right.
right? You may have a conversation about product quality. You may have a
Yeah.
conversation about efficiencies, because
Uh-huh.
that's where I'm always going to, my comments are always going to be around efficiency. Yeah, you
Security,
got to be
efficiency.
open.
Right, right, right.
You got security. That's
Security.
true too. Side note, Tanya texts this morning thinking she's like the, security police. She's like, everybody lock down your phones. Don't be sharing this, that, and the third. And I'm like, girl, who's sharing your precise
You
location
know what?
plus all your
I
stuff with
sent the
Apple?
same thing to my wife, my best friend, and other people, and they're like, "Girl, this was
Duh.
last year." I was the only one that did not.
Tanya got the chain mail that
Way
came out
later,
of like
way late.
the assisted living that was like, hey,
Did you say
watch your
assisted living?
phones, everybody.
It was an old person that was giving a tutorial. I was like, "Oh my
Girl,
god, let me
Girl,
go
it
through
was the old
all of
you
it.
were on like
All of it was
you were
on."
on the third hour of Good Morning America on a Sunday, which is like the
Okay,
10 a.m.,
okay,
where they're
not
basically
going
like,
far.
hey, so when someone calls your phone and says they're your grandson
Don't give your credit
in
card.
Virgin Islands, don't give your credit card.
Yeah.
Tanya's taking notes furiously.
My whole crew, I was like, "Oh, let me send this to everybody." They were like, "Girl, tighten up. You need to tighten up." So,
Oh.
so I mean, that
But
being said, listen, give advice, but make sure
make sure you're ready to also make sure you're also ready to receive it, which you clearly did today of like,
I said, "Listen."
okay, let me let me take a
Jen
step
was like,
back and
"Girl, why are you sharing our location? Why are you sharing our location? I'm with you all the time."
she's like, so wait, you're telling me everywhere I've been with you, we're being tracked?
Yes, we're getting picked up any second by somebody. Yes.
And Tanya's like, I don't know how they knew anything. How did they know?
That tracker, all things. That's why
She's got
we say something in
iPad.
the house and all of a sudden someone sends us the ad on. That's me.
Lord. All right, let me get us back on track. But
Listen, we have been laughing a lot. We have laughed. We've shared a few stories, but listen, even when you're resting, doing all these things, the world is still in a dark place.
yeah, but the reality is that look, I'm gonna be positive while still being dark.
Girl, I can't.
The positive side of this is I have heard more and more people talk about what a dark place we're in, right? There
Mhm.
was a moment in time where it was like, okay, I know people in this group, and this group aren't feeling good. But now I was actually just at breakfast brunch and I heard these two women next to me going, like, yelling about the situation and talking about their parents. And these were
Mm,
like two 28, 20, 30-year-old
yeah,
white women
yeah,
talking about themselves and how enraged their parents were and I'm like, okay, this is what we need more of. Like, and so
yeah.
that's the positive piece. I mean, it's coming at a cost, which we all unfortunately knew, but honestly, like at this point, and not to sound as we're both wearing shirts that say rebel, but at this point, it is going to take it's going to take a revolution. That stuff doesn't come
Yeah,
easy. This is not okay, if enough people just say, "Hey, this isn't right." No, this is we're dealing with a regime right now,
yeah,
and that's a
yeah.
different conversation than, you know, other sides of the aisle times in the past.
Yeah, I mean, listen, us 92 percenters have been sort of sitting in our glory,
Been telling you.
right?
Been telling you.
Um,
Right.
I think that many of us, including myself, started getting ready for where we are now. I'm glad everybody's caught up. I'm glad everyone looked up and saw their TV and realized that someone was getting murdered on television or, you know, or video. But the reality is, this has been happening. I mean, George Floyd, Breonna I mean, we can go through the long list, right? It doesn't minimize what happened with, Alex and Renee, good. It doesn't minimize those things, right? But what it is we have been living in and under this level of tyranny, trauma, for as long as we can think about it. I think the decision and the thinking needs to be, what are you going to do? I was looking at someone's social media, and someone was like, we can't wait till the midterms. Okay. Well, if you think the midterms are going to solve your problems, this problem, I'm sorry. I think we're beyond that. I think we need to all be thinking about and protecting each other and supporting each other the best way we can. And know that this is the beginning of the season finale of America. I really believe, though, for me, I was thinking about the fear I felt. I know a lot of I have people that are in Minneapolis, and I was just thinking, what happened if I was stopped? What would I do? Girl, I would pack my bag. I would pray that I got out, and I pack my bags, and I would be like, Jessica, while I'm at the airport, Jessica, I'm on my plane somewhere. Because I don't know if I'm looking at the TV and looking at what those people are going through. I'm not sure I have the emotional, the fortitude to survive, to really kind of live through that. I don't know. That's my honest take today. Listen, I continue to think how grateful I am to be in California, but I also am continually thinking about the moment when this happens to me and someone in my life, and so I get pulled over from these authorities. I get pulled over from ICE. They knock on my door. They break my door down. I think that anxiety and fear is something we've always dealt with, right? When we're driving through the wrong neighborhood, or we're thinking about those moments. But now more than ever, I'm making decisions about, where do I go and where is my safety? And I think we need to think about, what is our safety? Where do you find safety right now, Jessica? Where are you find safety?
Yeah.
It might be in your head. It might be in that therapist chair. But I don't know if that's enough right now.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And
I
I'm
think
dark.
that
I'm in a dark place. I'm in a dark place.
no, I think what has probably, um, well, I don't know if it's shifted, but I think what's top of mind for people this month, because literally you can't even like go more than like a month sometimes. But I think what's top of mind for people this month is people are being killed for speaking out on behalf of others,
Yeah.
for showing up for other people, for
Yeah.
their right to film something, for
Right.
so I think that that is a different place than a lot of people have felt before, right? A lot of us have felt targeted, like when you say driving through a bad neighborhood or
Yeah.
something, like, and for us a bad neighborhood is
Not
not
a bad
a
neighborhood. I'm not
low
right.
income area. We're talking
Right.
about an area that is, we know we're not welcome,
We're not the
or we know that
majority.
we're
Right.
going to be an immediate suspect.
Right.
Like, that is a different, that fear still exists,
Everywhere.
magnified,
Right.
right? But plus there's this new fear of everybody is a target, and don't try to help anybody else, because that people who are doing that are also a target, which in
Yeah.
effect is everybody. So everyone who has a conscience. Like, I don't know who would be standing on the side of the road and see someone attacked by six,
Men.
individuals, and not say, stop, what are you doing? pull out their phone, right? So, but that is now an offense that will put you in detention, brutally, like,
Beaten,
beaten,
right.
all the things. So you're questioned about your citizenship, all the things. So I think that that piece is that's different.
Yeah,
That's a
a
added
new fear.
layer that I think a lot of people didn't not expect, because I don't think anyone sits around expecting what's the next shoe to drop. But I think
I think I
that's a
expect
place where, well, I think even
we
with
expected it. If
when this
if
whole
you read the manifesto, it's all there. I mean, we
well,
were
I
d right?
think that the piece that's there, I think that people were 100% expecting, which is why I think you see a lot of people in the streets and whatever, they were expecting cruel and unusual punishment to people who don't look like they should be here, whatever that means.
Right. That's what they
I
expected.
think people didn't realize how evil this group of individuals are and how much they were going to be like, it's by all means, like it by all means necessary, like whatever gets in our way. It's that part of it that I think has added another layer of danger for folks. And look, we said this. I remember when we were doing an episode on healthcare and we were saying, like, people were thinking like, well, it doesn't matter for me because I have health insurance and I have this and
Yes.
whatever. And I think even when you say when we live in California, well,
It's
California
true.
is a target. Like, you don't see this stuff right now. It's a very interesting split. Like, you don't see this stuff happening in states that
Yeah, in
are
Texas.
red.
Right.
You don't see it
Texas,
because
Florida.
they're focusing on some of the states where we have people who have turned a blind eye because they've said it's not going to happen here. And that's their whole plan, is to create chaos here. So yeah, I don't know your question about what am I doing to stay safe. I
Why are
don't
you
think that's
doing the
even a
stays? What are you doing? I guess it's stay safe, supportive community. Like, how are you navigating this for our audience that's trying to figure out or trying to figure
I
out
don't
themselves?
I don't want to pretend I'm doing anything that works for someone else. I mean, at this point, it's like try anything you can. I mean, one thing, I've been off social media for about a month and a half now, which to me is been when you talk about what am I doing for myself, that has
Mhm.
been I don't have the emotional capacity to both hear about these experiences and then experience the trauma over and over
Right.
through other people's experiences. I cannot do that. And so I didn't get off social media because of that, but it surely, when I think about it right now, is something that would be quote
Which is
unquote
funny. You were
saving
the
me.
first person that told me what was happening with, Alex.
Yeah.
I was
Cause
like,
that's,
I was sitting in, listen, I was sitting in my work life doing some work, and I was like, what popped
yeah,
up? So clearly you're still getting information somewhere.
the
Um,
news. Like, I mean, you said, like
I can't trust the news.
independent
Independent
journalism.
news.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, I saw
independent.
it on NPR, I saw it on AP, and I'm like, what I couldn't do though is then hear stories from the people on the ground and relive their trauma. And then I'm just too much of I will take all of that on.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm doing. Now, I will tell you, it's harder to connect to the grassroots, to movement and action, not being on social media, because
Right.
that's where most of that starts and kind of gains traction. But that's also where a lot of people talk and they think that they mistake social media for action, right? Like, oh, I posted about something. Whew,
Yeah.
I feel better. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's not
And
going to get us
I
out.
think
This
that's
shit
where
is too deep for that.
I think that's where the group chat, the circles. I mean, I'm on a lot of WhatsApp groups now all of a sudden internationally, and I think that's really helpful. There are community spaces that don't necessarily equal IG and some of those, and TikTok, which I probably need to get off now because of ownership and what they're clearly following me. But, I think that, you know, yeah, I joke that sisters are doing it for themselves. In some ways, what's our strategy to make sure we're supporting each other? We're networking, we're keeping each other healthy. And I think that's the most important thing in navigating this, navigating safety And, I've set up different things on my phone. So if I get pulled over, I actually get I send my legal, uh, I send legal an alert and my wife because I want, I am thinking about, and I know some people, I think even last year when I was doing all these, I think maybe some people thought I was being a little bit extra in my planning, whether it's thinking about how I'm going to navigate this. I think some people thought I was a little crazy,
I think that I mean,
including you, I think.
no, no.
Including
I don't
it
think
might have
that
been you. It might have been you. It
no.
might have
I never
been,
said I thought it that's your projection. I've
you
never
might have
said
asked
that I
me if
think
I
it's
was,
crazy.
or you might have asked if I was a citizen.
Oh, I definitely asked if you were a
Because I
citizen,
was
and
real
even if
stressed.
yeah, definitely asked you if
Mhm.
you were a citizen because some of the things you were saying seemed like you were going to extra levels of,
I saw the
like,
tea leaves. I knew that I
paperwork.
was not going to be, yeah, I was doing extra levels of paperwork because I really felt that at some point we were going to get here sooner than I thought, actually. But at some point, I was going to be worried about driving and having a passport ID, having a different ID, having
But
all
look,
of this may not help me. It may not help me at the
no,
end
it
of the
may
day.
not because I'll tell you right now the problem that both you and I have is a mouth. And so that's just as
We
bad
do
as
have
not
a
having
mouth.
these days I'm not having paperwork because if someone came up to me, it's their whole job is to rile you up and like, or if I see someone else getting hurt, like that's the thing that I'm more worried about. Like asking me my papers is one thing, but like coming up to me because I'm saying something about something that you're doing that's illegal is
Right.
more likely something that I'm gonna get caught up for.
Well, let's hope you set up that
Let's
shortcut
hope they
on your phone. Let's hope you shut up that shortcut the minute you are taken, that you can press a button and a few of us get alerts so we can call legal because we want to make sure Jessica's soft like Jessica is not made for
yeah.
that cell. That's not
Yeah. Big
in the middle of all that's happening in the world and the streets and so forth. There's an incredible storm that's impacting a lot of people, so we want to also acknowledge our friends from my family and friends in New York and Texas and all across I think the eastern part of the country and beyond. I think
right.
they're all impacted right
Texas
now. Yeah,
Texas with no power grid that is I mean,
they're not
Texas's
ready.
whole power situation is always
Very.
and
And
then
you know
all
what?
the states that are not ready, North Carolina, Atlanta,
North
Georgia, states
Carolina.
that cannot do not do
Yeah.
well with ice and
Yeah.
snow
So I'm
is
thinking about all of our friends, family, and coworkers, many of whom, you know,
yeah.
live in these situations. It is a dark time, Jessica. I feel like I'll be honest, yesterday I was I was just so overwhelmed. But I do believe that when I look up and I think of my great relationships and my friends and my family, and I think we have to try to stay in gratitude somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, and it's definitely been, a practice that I have been leaning into a lot this year. I think I think that all of us have to, in times like this, have to figure out and take inventory and stock of what are things that fill you up, what are things that drain you, what are the
Yeah.
ways that like you find yourself in those spots like yesterday, what are the things that are going to make it better and what are the things that aren't and
Yeah.
that's not a that's a you exercise, right? That's only something you can do and it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you care about a certain group of people less or more. It doesn't mean that you like a show less or something. It's just like
Yeah.
you got to know what works for you at what times. And right now, it's like, because it can go from like everything's good, feeling really great to like, oh my God, I just saw a tragedy on something that's now shown on TV and like I'm in a really bad place, right? So you have to be, it's kind of like you and I were talking about this the other day when you were going to the urgent care for something and you were like, scrambling in the moment. I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things we don't think about, but it's like that's a good example of like, okay, when you need urgent care, you don't want to be looking for urgent
Right.
care when you urgently need it. And so I think the same things with ourselves right now and our mental space and our mental health is like what are we doing when things are kind of okay to prepare
Yeah.
for when they're not, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and, you're right. I think the urgent care analogy is a pretty good analogy. You need to make sure you have places and things to go to when you need that urgent care, and what tools in your toolbox that you can pull out of to get yourself, because I think it's really hard. Despair is easy right now. This is hopelessness, despair. I think we are privileged in many ways because of I think we are privileged in our status. There are a lot of people who are not feeling as though they can get out of their house, or elderly people or other people in Minnesota and all throughout the country. And we're stuck in snowstorms with no food or whatever it is, right? And I just think that we need to look up and remember, you know, that we have a very strong toolbox. And that's also community, and that's friends. You have a great husband, J-Cell, shout out. I have a great wife, and who are always thinking about us and are taking care of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, the other thing I would just we are going to try to continue to be a place where folks can come to. I mean,
Yep.
obviously we always are going to have a conversation that's real, but which unfortunately real is a little bit dark these days. But I think finding outlets, not like us, no, but finding outlets like even other perspectives that you can listen to, that you can also feel like validated a little bit, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed and you're talking to people in your life, then you're like, why does everyone seem like they're walking around and everything's okay? Like, it might be good for you to find other outlets, podcasts, TV shows, etc., of people in different kind of experiences for you to connect to. So I feel like it is hard. I think particularly like, I don't know, in the wintertime, living in a place like California where you go outside and like most days it's like 65 plus degrees and the sun is out, and it's like you kind of see, like even right now with the storms, right? You see people dealing with despair, and because we're so connected now on social and even
Right.
like news coverage, you almost think it's like cold outside. And then you go outside and you're like, "Oh, sun's shining
This
here."
feels nice, right?
Right? So there's like this
The sun hitting you.
yeah, there's like this cognitive dissonance. The world is, it's like it's
Yeah,
ice outside. So I think we have to like you got to connect to people in your real life, connect to the world around you, connect to your community, and then also make sure that you're feeding yourself with perspectives that are different than yours.
yeah. And with that, we like to do. Last season we started our Shine Sis Shine. I know that you have one and I have one. You're going to be surprised about mine.
Oh,
But you
okay.
go
Yeah, mine
first. What
mine is
you
kind
go
of
first.
different for me too. But yeah, I was reading this weekend about Miss Gladys West, who was they coined her the hidden figure of GPS. And so she just
I
died
know, right.
on last Saturday, at 95. Go ahead, sis. And basically her work, she contributed to like why GPS is GPS
Right.
today.
We
So
won't
she
right. We
did the
right.
initial work, and I'm not going to try to get into this. You can read about her because the a lot of people have done some interesting New York Times. I think she has a book. I think she's a New York Times bestseller.
Mhm.
But she did something where she was looking at Pluto and looking at Neptune and figuring out the size of
Right.
the Earth, and like the mathematical equation she came up with basically served as the basis for all modern day GPS. And what I love about her is when she did an interview, I think with public radio or something, they asked her about GPS. She was like, "Girl, I don't use that. I use maps, old school maps," which I love. But yeah, she's shout out to her. She's a real life hidden figure. And, we always talk about how many Black people are behind, these things, these
Yeah.
inventions that everyone takes for granted and uses. And so I wanted to shout her out because
Yeah.
life well lived, sis.
Life is tap, tap, tap. Mine is actually a women's sports, someone in women's sports.
Let's hear it.
I want to give my shines to shine to Trinity Rodman, who signed
Oh,
the largest women's soccer contract, I believe in the history, 2 million a year. And it's awesome. It's awesome to see women's sports. We talked about it a lot last year, but to see soccer and other sports get the recognition that they need, and people were on their, you weren't on social, but people have been waiting for this announcement, and so there's a lot of conversation
I
to
read the
right.
news about it. It was
You did
still
read
it
the
was
announcement.
places
Yes, you
other
still
than
knew about it.
social.
So,
Yeah.
Trinity Rodman, as someone who doesn't have a relationship with her father, myself, I respect her
But look,
and her going, I don't know who he is. So I love
but let
that.
me tell you about her biracial queen, who's also her man is, which I think they're still together. I haven't been on social, but
Girl, let's make sure.
racial biracial king, the tennis player, Ben Shelton. Shelton. He's one of the youngest on the tour, and he's one of the only Black Americans, I think, ranked right now. So go ahead, biracial power couple.
Congratulations to Trinity. Uh, I don't do women's sports. So I actually need my own shine just for knowing that and acknowledging
We
that.
don't want to give her man who's there to support her shine, but we want to give you the shine for knowing who
You know
one of the
what?
most, if not the most popular soccer player in women's
I
professional
give him,
soccer is.
I give
Let's
all of
pause
them.
everybody and give a round of applause for Tanya.
Where's
Tanya,
the applause? I know there's applause somewhere on this thing.
Tanya, that's amazing. Thank you for that.
Oh, first of all, I want to just say, welcome back, everyone. We are back. We're having, listen, whatever we said we were going to talk about, somehow we will veer. We did. But, this season, we are definitely planning to really talk about impact independence and really how we show up for each other. And that's really important for Girl Call Me. Now more than ever, I think this podcast, when we started, felt like fun, but now it feels more and more important that
Yeah.
independent voices are, and people are just sharing their experiences and providing support for each other.
Yeah. I think, we've talked about in seasons past kind of how to take care of yourself, how to, the day-to-day type of things. I think what we want to focus on this season too is building wealth, building physical wealth, building
Build that wealth.
mental wealth, building
Right.
financial wealth,
Right.
and really then how to turn that wealth into impact. I think is something that both of us are kind
Yeah.
of personally passionate about. And so I think we talked earlier in the episode just about action. I think that's where my head is at is
Mm-hmm.
there's a space that we can take up right now that is that's important, that there's more people, that there's more women, there's more women of color who are taking up these spaces. And I think in the social impact space and in the investment space, our voice matters. And so I think we talk a lot, but we want to have some power behind those moves, and that's what we'll be talking a lot about this season.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Tell us what you're doing to really just give your self-care and those moments that maybe you need to go get a scrub. We'll be putting that scrub place I will be, because Jessica's,
Look, I'm going
you
back.
might. Okay.
I'm going back. I'm going to go back all the time, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm never telling anyone when I'm going back because it's not something I now have a group of people.
It's not a group exercise.
Well,
Exercise.
It's not until it is. So like if you've gone once with that group of people, that's the group you can keep going to because now you're in it together.
I don't need anybody in my business like that.
And you don't need to that's it. Now you have your safe space.
Right. It's like bumping into someone at the doctor's office that you work with. You're like, oh, I don't want.
Tanya, when you go to doctors in 15 area codes and at your own job, you're bound to bump into people.
I make sure I always have a mask, glasses, hairs, and something.
A mask? They're like, oh, here comes that lady. Here comes the lady with the sun hat again.
Don't ask me things. Anyway,
are you watching The Pit? By the way, can we just do a plug for The Pit?
I started and I felt a little traumatized and stressed by it. I was like, does that mean I need another doctor's appointment this week because of a UTI or something?
You're going to start going to the ER just because you're like,
Girl,
look, I don't know. I've been seeing
girl,
you guys handle some really good cases.
that stuff, or kill people, or kill Black people, which was like the first few episodes. I was like, oh
Look,
Lord, I can't.
I love the Pit. Look, and everyone on here knows I don't watch TV like that.
I
I'm
prefer
in.
Grey's
I'm
Anatomy. It's a
in.
little bit more. I need a little
No,
mix of
it's too.
life, and it's raw. That show is
You
raw.
need some. Yeah, that show is raw. You need, and
That show's raw.
I like a real. I usually
It's
don't
like,
even like
might as well
fiction.
watch a
So
documentary. Watch a documentary then.
that's
If you need that
exactly
much
what I was
raw,
just going to say. That's what I like. I like it feeling nonfiction, like right on the border of fiction.
a little
Maybe
too,
you're over
a
here
little.
in small town writer meets, construction worker. They have a,
Yes.
what was that movie you saw? The Haves and Have Nots, or what was it?
Yeah. I don't know which one.
What was it?
His and
Hers and
hers.
his or something you
His
were
and hers.
saying?
Okay, that's the
His
one.
and
That's a
hers.
horror. That's actually a murder mystery. That's what it's.
Oh,
It's nothing. There's nothing.
okay. That's not
Actually,
Hallmark.
that's the one I need to promote. His and hers, one of the best murder mysteries. You need to watch all. I think it was like 6 episodes because don't mess with Black mamas. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my
That's all I'm
God.
gonna
Okay.
say. I'm not gonna
And
say
I
anything else.
forgot. I need to plug, absolutely need to plug my talented cousin has his animated short is up for an NAACP award. And I want
Oh, okay.
everybody to
Yes,
go
you need to
vote for
post
it.
it.
It's called Wednesdays with Gramps,
Yes.
and it's on YouTube. And it's a DreamWorks produced short. We will put the link out. It's
Yes.
so cute. It is. It's a short, so I'm not going to even try to give you a summary of it because I don't want
Yeah.
to give the plot away. But it's about a young boy and the time he spends with his grandpa that's special, and a little black boy and his grandfather. So please go vote for it on the NAACP. I don't know when their voting is up, but Wednesdays with Gramps.
I
We'll
love that.
post it. Tanya will post
Congratulations.
it.
And Jessica is going to have to figure out a way to give me access so y'all can, her friends can know what's happening. Anyway,
I'm telling y'all right here,
subscribe,
Wednesdays with
like,
Gramps.
subscribe,
Yeah,
follow,
follow us.
and
Follow
thank
us on
you. We're
social.
back. We're back.
And we're back.
Tap, tap, tap.
Hey, it's Jessica. Thanks for listening to Girl Call Me. If you have something to add or a story to share, come on over to Instagram or Facebook and join the conversation. Also, make sure you follow and subscribe Girl Call Me. You don't want to miss when we release new episodes. Thanks for listening.